Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Unorthodox Vegan. My name is Sean Gold, and today we're going to talk about a couple of things that we did that I used in episode 1. Episode 1, if you recall, we had the spinach wrap, and I showed you the vegan mayonnaise that I make, so we'll be doing that today. I also showed you a Chipotle mix, which I'll also be making today. Are you ready? Let's get started. First off, we need the right ingredients. So I want to make sure that you understand what we're using. I've tried one of the opportunities to make mayonnaise, vegan mayonnaise, I've seen one of the recipes included using soy milk. Now I've tried using the actual soy milk and the best to get the right texture. The original recipe I used had soy milk and it had avocado oil to get the right emulsification, all that kind of stuff, and it worked pretty good. But I sat there and thought about it and said, I can't really use avocados. Don't really grow here, and they're not easy to get. You have to import them from a long distance. So what else could I use instead of that? So I practiced and played around with various things, various oils. Didn't seem to work very well. And then instead of using soy milk in and of itself, I found that when I tried it with other oils, it didn't work. So then I tried it with soy milk powder. And that's what I'm bringing today to the table. I go to Bulk Barn and I buy soy milk powder, which is a powdered dry soy milk. And I find that works, and it works really well with canola oil. So by using those two things, canola oil grown in the prairies, so in Canada, we're not too far away, it means I don't have to import it from long distances, so I use that. And I go to Bulk Barn and I get myself my soy milk powder. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be mixing the soy milk powder, first of all, with water, pretty much 1-to-1, not quite. 1/2 of a cup of water to 1/3 of a cup of powdered soy milk, I found is the right amount. Be adding in a little bit of distilled vinegar, white vinegar. So that white vinegar to give it a little bit of a tanginess to it, and a little bit of salt. And then we'll be mixing in the canola oil. And that's all it takes. All right. So that's for the first recipe. Let's get started with that. So first of all, we need a 1/2 cup of water, pouring that into my container here. Let me just point this down so you can see what I'm doing here. All right, so added the water. We're going to get 1/3 of a cup of the powdered soy milk. Yeah, that's about 1/3 of a cup. We'll mix that together. I'm just going to use a spatula here to get it together. Don't need any more soy milk, so I'm just going to get that out of the way. And I'm just going to mix it here in this little container. Get the cord out of the way so you don't get in the way. And all I'm doing is just getting that water mixing in with the soy powder. It's a very thick paste that's happening there. Could probably use a fork to do that, but I just want to make sure I get it off the side so I don't have it caking up. I want to get as much of it wet as possible. Make that nice paste. Now you should be able to see that that's a bit of a paste in there that's happening. It's fairly thick. So I'm going to add some white vinegar. I'm going to add a little over a tablespoon. So I'm going to go a tablespoon, just a little overflowing of a tablespoon to get that just a little bit more than a tablespoon. I find is just about the right amount. All right, that's all the white vinegar that we need. I'll mix that in. And we're going to add about a teaspoon of salt. I don't have a teaspoon out here. And I'm going to use just a regular, just plain old sea salt. Throw that in there. And mix that in as well. Now again, it's a little more creamier, the mix right now. A little bit creamier. It's a little easier to work with. So I'm just mixing that around a little bit. There's only one ingredient left. All I have to do now is add in some canola oil. And I'm going to put in 1 cup of canola oil. 1 cup. I'm going to do it, you should be drizzling it in and doing it over slowly so that it doesn't, so you get to blend it in, because I'll be putting in with an immersion blender. Let's put a little bit in there right now. And we'll get that immersion blender going in here, and we'll start to blend it and mix it up. Now the key thing here is to make sure it's aerated as well. put in some more. And let's finish that off. Now, the secret of mixing this is to make sure that you don't undermix it. You got to really mix the two together. You want to get that real good emulsification happening. And you need to get the oxygen or the air in there, to get it just to thicken up. So right now it's not bad, but it needs to be processed a little bit more. And I'm going to be doing that. So you can see it's a little bit liquidy, a little bit runny. We're going to keep processing it a little bit more, get more air in there, get that thing mixed. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it thickens up. Now you can see when I'm thickening it up that when I'm adding more air in there by going up and down with that it actually does get some pretty thick. It's pretty thick and it's got a nice texture to it right now. It's going to do a little bit more because you never really can overdo it, overprocess it. And then we're going to pour it into a jar and we're going to put it in the fridge and let it set up. I'm going to give you a close view of that because just look at how beautiful that is. Nice and thick and creamy. It's just gorgeous. So all right. Okay, now we got the jar. We're going to put this into the jar. And then we're going to put it in the fridge and let it just thicken up. And it'll be perfect mayonnaise. Let me just taste it here. We'll do a taste test on it. All right, got that all out. Let's do a little quick taste test. Delicious, delicious. And that is our vegan mayonnaise. All right. Now, for our second recipe for today, we're going to be making the Chipotle mix. Now, I told you that I had found this Chipotle powder before, and I bought this before. It was a pre-mixed Chipotle powder, and it had the ingredients were listed as having Chipotle, red chili, garlic, salt, sugar, dextrose, and citric acid. That's great. It was wonderful. I really enjoyed it, but we're going to make our own. So there's no point in having to go out and buy this. It's easy to get it yourself. Now, I'm a big fan of going to the bulk barn, which is just a bulk warehouse where you can get buy bulk materials. And what I'm going to start with is a little bit of Chipotle, pure Chipotle powder. Now, this is not what I normally would use for my own Chipotle mix. I have Chipotle powder. So I take that and I put some Chipotle powder into my container. And I try to do it, this is the majority component of it. So I'm going to put in, I don't know, that's probably about 2 or 3 tablespoons of it. So that's the first thing that's going to go in here. And then I'm going to put in a little bit of smoked paprika. I like smoked paprika, for its color, but also for its nice smoky flavor. I'm going to put in a little bit of smoked paprika. Okay, gives a nice little color to it, adds a nice little color to it. Now, I found that the last mix that I had was a little bit too much garlicky or too salty. So I'm going to just be careful. I'm going to put in a little bit of garlic salt, garlic powder. What's it called? Granulated garlic. I'm just going to put in a little bit. I don't want to overdo it this time. And a little bit of salt, but not too much salt. I'm going to put in just a little bit of salt. This is a smoked fine sea salt. Not too much, just a bit of that. Now, next up, I want to put in some red chili pepper flakes. But the problem is that these are too big and it just doesn't mix in well. So you need to then take these and grind them up. Now, if you happen to have a grinder for doing coffee grounds, that works ideal. That is what I have here. So I'm just going to put a little bit of the grounds in there. There are the dried flakes in there. And I am going to, now this is going to be a little noisy, so hang tough there. I am going to put these through the grinder and just grind them up to make them to a fine powder. Sorry for the noise. I find that if I shake it up and down, it actually gives it an opportunity for the the flakes to just get chewed up or crunched up really easily, much better. So here we go. All right. Now, it's going to take that, put that in there as well. And there we have it. There's our mix. Now, I didn't make a large amount because I still have a large amount already in the cupboard. I didn't want to make too much, but let's just see what this is like. Give that thing a little shake, shake, shake. Get it all mixed up and see. We're going to do a little taste test on that and see how that works. Now, I've taken out a previous batch of mayonnaise, which I had in the fridge, and I'm going to take that out, give that one a little, mix it up a little bit, aerate it a little bit, get it to thicken up. Again, I just want to get that all nicely thickened up and just a beautiful paste. Just gorgeous when it's like that. It's just absolutely perfect. And we're going to take some of this powder, which I've now mixed up. I'm going to dump that in there. And this is going to be my Chipotle aioli, which you can use as a dip. I use it with sweet potato fries when we're cooking up sweet potato fries. By the way, sweet potato fries or any fries, I've got an air fryer, which I have absolutely fallen in love with. I highly recommend that you use an air fryer. It is so healthy and quick and just friendly and easy to use. So I love using it. So now I have this mixed up. I've got some of that mix in there, and we're going to do a taste test in a minute. Let me just grab another spoon. And just see how that tastes. Oh, that's absolutely perfect. All right, so what we've made today, we've done two things. We've made the mayonnaise, the vegan mayonnaise, and we've made a Chipotle mix. And I've taken that Chipotle mix and added it into some of that vegan mayonnaise and made a wonderful aioli. And I'm trying to just get this off. I'm going to just have to lick this spoon because it is too delicious. Oh, that is to die for. All right, so those are the two things we made today. Now, one of the things I wanted to point out in my household, I'm responsible for not only making some of the food, but also for cleaning up after myself. So I think it's important that you actually use things. I've talked about as a climatarian to make sure that we recycle, reuse, repurpose. So I have all of these containers that I've already had in my cupboard that were from previous things bought, and I just reuse them as much as possible. So I can go and buy bulk materials from Bulk Barn or wherever I get them from, and I just reuse as much of these containers as possible. So I try not to buy any more containers. But it's also important to maintain, just to take care of things. So, cleaning stuff out. So I'll be washing this out, making sure that I take out all of the chipotle or the peppers out of that thing, because who knows what this is going to be used for as a grinder later. So I want to make sure it's cleaned out so it can be used for other things if somebody wants to use it for coffee grounds. Not me, I don't drink coffee. Let's see. And we have a bunch of stuff that I have in the sink that I put in there that, when I was finished making various things like the blender. And all that stuff will get washed up, and I'll wash that up and put it all away. Make sure that the house is left sparkling clean. And we have had two key things made today. We've had the vegan mayonnaise and the Chipotle mix. That was episode 2. If you have any questions, get a hold of me through my email address, which will be on the screen. And looking forward to seeing you in a further episode. So this is episode 2 of the Unorthodox Vegan. Thank you for attending. Bye for now.